Arbaaz and Sumit, welcome to the Raj and Pablo show. Unfortunately, or some people would say fortunately, you only have Pablo. Um, Raj is otherwise tied up in a position that he probably isn't enjoying, or maybe enjoying, but we'll leave that up to him. Sumit, of course, we have a history, and until we got onto the Zoom call, I wasn't sure if I had the right one. It's been so long, so it's great to see you again.
Same
And
here. Thank,
Arbaaz, of course, we've interviewed you before at events for films, and we know your family well. So we hope you're well. We hope your family's well.
Doing well, bro. Yeah.
Good, good, good. So let's talk. I have to say, quick heel pinch. Now it's the second season that's going to start. When I heard about it, and my friends in Mumbai were talking about it, I was like, seriously, it's all based around social media. And when you think about it, and Sumit, I guess as the guy behind the program, this question is for you first. Did you think, okay, in terms, it's relevant for the times, it needs to happen for the time, and we need to have an entertainment show based around social media?
see, I always feel when entertainment comes from the reality, what is happening around, and you can, talk about it, laugh about it, and you can express yourself about it. It could be anything. So these days, our life is literally lived through the social media. So all the opinions are made on social media, all the careers are made on social media, all the careers are destroyed on social media. So it's the most powerful vehicle we are riding today. And because it's a second season, it's not that we have quickly realized that, oh, something is happening and let's ride the wave. No, it was very well thought. And we were very clear, okay, this is the one big thing which is coming up. And people, it's one-sided. You are writing to the celebrities, you are writing to icons, you are writing to successful people, but you are never given a chance for them to reply back, and you don't know how they feel about it. So Pinch was born at that time when Arbaaz and me are discussing all these things happening around and all, and then we realized, why not? Why not? And I thought Arbaaz was the right person for that, and it happened to prove absolutely 100% right.
Well, I was going to ask you, so Arbaaz, I mean, you're the host of the show. You're involved with the show. How weird is it to be talking to like people? You're a celebrity talking to other celebrities about how you transfer social media and comments made by the public. Some of them, I have to say, not very nice when they're being trolled.
Absolutely.
Do you kind of go through it before saying, I'm going to mention this, you don't mind, or is it you just kind of throw it at them and say you have to deal with it?
So basically, Sumit and Abby, the guy who's also written and directed it and conceptualized by Sumit, initially when they met me, they came up with this idea. Of course, it has evolved over a period of time as to we've refined the idea with many, many things. And try to improve the show right from episode to episode. I wouldn't even say season to season. Every episode we learn something and we try to incorporate it into our new episode. So basically, what has happened is that we have a fair idea about the guests we have on the show, because one, they are public figures, so we know about them. Some of them I've had a personal equation with. In fact, most of them I had a personal equation with, and some professional. So what happens is that when I'm working with them, and when certain questions come across, we have our own kind of filtration process, and we sift through the questions as to what we think will go well with the times, with the mindset also of the star. Sometimes you also know, when he's on a high, you come to know when the star is like on a high, his movies have done well. Maybe sometimes he's probably one or two films have not done too well, but he's very active in social media, or things are happening. His take would be different. How do we handle it? So we have to also have a bit of psychology to some extent and understanding their nature. And, and though we have posed some very tricky, some questions that put them in a spot, sometimes, we put them in a slightly awkward scenario to answer certain things, but never, ever have they felt uncomfortable by our questions, because we've been very mindful and careful about what we ask. And those answers are relevant that we seek. And they have been more than willing to answer them. And unfortunately, if ever, which has never happened as of now, they felt maybe, can we skip this question? We've been more than willing to do that, because like I've always said, this is not an inquisition. This is not an interrogation.
And it's not about humiliation or anything.
It's about, okay, fine, you're comfortable talking about this. You're not. Okay, how about the next question? How about the next question? So we have a bank of questions.
Can I ask you, like, if it was the other way around, say, if I mean, well, actually, when social media, when the big bubble happened, so to speak, how did you find it first? Were you kind of like, wow, people are commenting on things that stars just don't really talk about, and then fans are getting a chance to interact? Because initially it was all very fine, and we were good with social
Yeah, so
media.
initially it was never to make a statement. It was never to show your political views. It was never, actually, it didn't start off that way. It was about communicating with people. It was about, connecting with people, meeting your old friends, maybe posting some of your daily routine pictures, your holiday pictures. Basic news was being, sent on that. Then it started becoming something which was a workplace. It was something that had become an agenda-based place where you could, have your agendas, you could talk about your work, then you could influence people, and then it just snowballed into many, many, many things. So of course, there are some great things that have come through social media, that people have started making livelihoods from social media, which previously, maybe somebody had to look out for something or find a way to, show how they could, their talents and whatever they had, the qualities that they had. But this became a showreel for them. So for a lot of people, it's been a good thing. It's only the ones that have not really understood the real sense of it, or probably feel that this is our way of, like bolte na ke, there was no way that I can stand outside somebody's house, a star's house, and abuse and get away. Maybe the guard is going to throw me away, or maybe the cops are going to catch me, or maybe I'm going to get slapped around by some fan of theirs. So if I'm sitting here, shielded, protected in some place, I can say whatever I want and get away with it. And maybe it'll reach him, because if he's reading, and maybe it'll affect him because I expect him to, read it or whatever. So we talk about all these things, with the stars.
And Sumit, coming back to you, do you think? I mean, I felt like you with the show, it felt like you were bringing social media about, a happy place that is supposed to be. Because like Arbaaz was saying, sometimes people do go to extremes, and we all know that. But do you think, in a way, that your show's giving some kind of guidance, guidelines, policing to kind of, what is not just all about trolling? It's not just about, because so many people are always like, who said what? And did they say something really bad? Whereas it did initially start off with celebrating achievements of individuals. Do you think that your show's helping bring in that kind of happiness back to social media, if you like?
Absolutely correct, because we don't read only the negative comments. We read tons of positive comments, and we always believe there are a lot more positive comments than these handful people throwing this negativity. And the idea is, as I said yesterday also, that India are going to be the biggest cell phone users in the world, biggest internet users in the world. So cyberspace need to be a pleasant place to live in. You can't pollute. Certain people can't come out and have these bizarre ideas and throw on people the language which they can't use in their own living room. They're using on a public platform. So line has to be drawn. So sometime showing them the other side of it, how humble and how with so much of dignity they have taken these comments and replying it back, that itself is a motivation for many other people who are victim of the same thing. So in many ways, we are showing absolutely the other side as well, and making people realize that it's not, really, what do you say, in a way, it's good that to coming this new future generation, we can't leave this environment so toxic for them.
We can't leave it toxic, and we can't ignore that it's happening, right?
Absolutely. So the idea is to, yes, show all the sides. And as we always say, we are not there to judge anybody. We are a neutral platform. We are just putting what is there on the public domain, and then they are there to answer it.
But I think above all, what it is about the show is that it's entertainment. And there was a fear with social media, moving away from, I mean, you just have to look at cinema now, and there are external, like, whatever's happening in the world, moving to online Netflix activity. But social media has kind of taken on a life like that as well. I felt like you kind of embraced social media and brought it back to a platform of television where we can enjoy it as good old-fashioned TV entertainment, which is much needed, but in a way that we're interacting as a generation moving forward, right?
Yep.
Arbaaz, I've got to ask you, what's the weirdest thing you've read about yourself on social media?
I guess so many things, at every different stage, you get to hear crazy things,
Okay, let me rephrase that. When it all first started, was it at any point you were really, really upset or something really made you laugh? So I'll give you the option of both.
I guess both. There have been occasions. See, I find it very difficult to, exactly pinpoint what exactly, but there have been occasions where I have been pretty livid about what has happened on social media, where people have written about us without, or me for that matter, without any kind of, basis of truth to it, and I've tried to validate that. They've tried to give their own justification to make people believe, and there are a lot of people who still believe that.
Yeah.
Which is upsetting, because you get calls sometimes from your friends and your colleagues that, hey, listen, this is what has been circulating. Something like this happened, or what, or is it true, or what? And you're like, hey, you also believe this. So that's where the issues come. That's where the problem comes. Sometimes your relative from somewhere will call you up, or an old friend will call you. Is that, hey, I've heard this thing, or this news has been happening, or this is being on WhatsApp, or this is like moving on Twitter. So that's where we feel like, maybe one has to give a clarification. Then there are funny things about you, there are things that really make me laugh. Is now this new, right now is about me and Roger Federer, that we happen to be twin brothers, and Salim Khan had 4 kids, and, Arbaaz, Suresh and Ramesh were brothers, and he turned to become Roger Federer, So it's like, that really makes me laugh, because that really did the rounds, So there are things that are funny, and then there are things that bring a smile to your face, and there are things that really upset you. Now, what has happened is that the things that really upset you, you tend to kind of get immunized to it slowly. It's like you tend to bring some, either you become numb to it, or you become stronger to, react in a different way, and it's not going to go away. It's like saying that you're going to live with coronavirus, for that matter. It's not going to go away. You just have to find a way. So it's like there will be negativity. It's just that, like, what happens that, let's just say, whatever is our space, whether it's our house, whether it's our office, whether it's our world, these are all spaces that we work in, right? Similarly, there's a social media also is a place that is our space. We keep our houses clean. We keep our offices clean. We want our world to be clean. That's why we talk about, environmental changes and to keep the city clean and all. Why can't we talk about keeping social media clean?
Well, it's almost like having your own space within the worldwide
web.
Yes,
so that's also a world that you want it clean.
Yeah.
You don't want it messy, and you don't want it dirty, just like how you don't want yourself, your house, your workplace, your world, your society, your neighborhood, everything. You want it clean. That's how human beings are. Yeah. Anything that is disruptive, anything that is negative, you want it out of your space, right? Similarly, why should social media be a place where you entertain negativity, and you entertain falsehood, and you entertain lies, and you entertain rumors? That's not a place that you should entertain it. So now, if you want to do that, it's like nobody's stopping you from committing a crime. Nobody tells you that you can't kill somebody. You can, but you're accountable once you do it.
Yeah.
Nobody tells you cannot break a traffic signal. They tell you that, but people still do. But what happens is that you're accountable for that.
I think
so
you make a really
you got to start becoming, because there's so much to gain and lose from social media, which we've discovered now in the last couple of years. It never was the case till recently. We have to start now bringing more accountability and more responsibility to social media. And you can't have only one section of the people who are going to get affected by it. Like, say, because you're a known person, you get dropped from your job, you lose your ads, you lose your income, you get shamed. You can't have one section just feel the brunt of it for a small mistake probably that they've done. And then the world on the other side is doing exactly that or more, and is getting away with it.
But just not getting that attention. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So you cannot be unfair, right?
Absolutely.
You can't. It can't work for one section like this and the other and get away with it, right?
Well, yeah, you know what? They're new times and they need policing, like you said. But I'm glad that you managed to put a smile on people's faces with this program. And look, now people are taking day trips to space and back. Who knows what the future is going to hold for us? But guys, best of luck with the show. And Arbaaz, when my team found out that we were going to be talking to you, you've probably been asked this 100 times. Dabangg, Dabangg, Dabangg. Will we see more?
Yeah, hopefully we'll see more soon.
Okay,
good. We're working on it.
Thank you very, very much, guys.
We
Best of
might
luck
see
with the show.
we might see Pinch season 3 before that though.
Either or, we don't mind. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Great talking to you.
And you. Take
Nice
care.
talking to you.
Ruckus Avenue Radio.